Coming up, we're doing our ballers and boleros of the weekend. Stay tuned. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Boleros. Sam here with the Sultan of Sando, Gab Lim, and Mr. Maui Up. What's up, guys? Jam-packed UAAP
What a
weekend.
weekend of basket. Yeah, what a weekend of basketball. Four good games, four very interesting and
Akalain mo, no? Lahat.
lahat were so good to watch. And I was there live at courtside for each of those four games. Everything was amazing. Good job to Asia Basket. Salute to you. The games were amazing. Were just amazing. Aside from the gamo-gamo in the, the Ateneo San Beda overtime game on Saturday, everything was perfect. Just perfect. Ateneo, you might want to get those the UV lamps to exterminate those gamo-gamo. Come on, that's a home court advantage though for Ateneo, but come on, man.
Sanay na yung Ateneo sa gamo-gamo.
Yeah, I mean, they practice until late at night, until 9, I think, or 9:30. So, I know they've seen those, yung mga gamo-gamo na yun. So, probably nasanay na sila. But it definitely had an effect. Yung kahit yung mga refs na babother na sa sa dami ng gamo-gamo sa court Grabe. Ateneo, come on. Moro. We gotta fix that. We gotta fix that.
Okay, so jam-packed weekend. What better way to cover the games than to do one of our favorite segments, Ballers and Boleros. Matagal na tayong hindi nag-Ballers and Boleros, so now's the perfect time. Let's start with the good, no? So let's cover all four games nung Saturday and then nung Sunday, but let's do our Ballers and Boleros picks. Let's start with the good. Gab, sino yung first siguro like baller mo that you wanna talk about?
I gotta start with the 2-point guards of LaSalle, Jacob Cortez and Kian Baclaan. This game a while ago against Ateneo in the finals was very different from their first meeting earlier in Asia Basket. I think their first game in one of the first games in Asia Basket. That first game was dominated by Mike Phillips. Just clutch rebound, clutch basket after clutch basket, 30-20, just dominating the Ateneo front line. This was different. I think this is the first time all off season that I've seen both Cortez and Baclaan have significant impacts in the game. Because in a lot of their preseason games, it's either one has a good game, the other one doesn't have much of an impact. In another game, it's Cortez. In another game, it's Baclaan. But now they didn't need Mike Phillips, and it was the two of them in that fourth quarter that really brought home that Asia Basket championship to De La Salle. They were amazing. I think I feel really validated by putting them in my top 5. Now, I mentioned in my top 5, I don't think they're gonna leave anytime soon. I mean, they're gonna wear out their eligibility if they leave, so they're not leaving anytime soon. So yeah, I feel really validated that I put them as one of my top part of my top 5 point guard for season 88 because they were so good in control. You see the experience. You see the experience that both these guys have. Baclaan has been in the Final Four twice already with NU. Jacob Cortez has won a championship with San Beda. The composure amid a close game when Ateneo was making their run in the fourth quarter, making the right plays, knowing where to go on offense, knowing where to pass, knowing when to take their shots. Hindi pilit 'di ba? Hindi pilit.
Magandang point yun.
'Di ba? In the flow of the offense, nothing was straight up just give me the ball. It was everything in the flow of the offense, which I think bodes well for the De La Salle Green Archers. This was what they were lacking in the finals last year against UP. Just someone else to take care of the offense. So someone else to run the offense aside from KQ and Mike Phillips because they sorely lack that. No, UPJ David and Leandro Mino did not prove themselves as capable to generate their own shots at will. These two guys can. I mean, the moves they were making in the paint, in the fast break, my God, the footwork, amazing. The body control to when they get into paint, when they get hit by shot blockers, by rim protectors, and still getting the baskets to go. Just freaking incredible. I know Ateneo lost and I'm cheering for Ateneo, but hangang-hanga ako sa galing ng dalawang to. There was one fast break by Jacob Cortez. He was all alone against 3 Ateneo defenders. He was against Kimanila. They just dribbled it right and then spun, lost Kimanila and just hit that soft floater. Beautiful. I cannot say anything. Yung napanad na lang ako, sabi ko, wala, ano magagawa mo? Ang ganda ng galaw eh. Wala ka na magagawa. I mean, that's as good a defense I think as Kim Anilani could do. There's just a really good move. And the threes, again, this is why LaSalle got these two guys. And I can't say anything more, man. They delivered that Asia Basket Championship to LaSalle and they didn't need a super monster game from Mike Phillips to do it. Amazing performance by those 2-point guards. If I'm the rest of the league, I'm scared. If when they're both on their A games, I don't think anyone can beat this LaSalle team. Maybe UP, but sobrang scary nitong dalawang to. Ibang klase. The basketball IQ, the footwork, the court vision, the body control, everything, incredible. Sammy, Maui.
Masasabi ko lang it's unfair. It's unfair to have these two guys on the same team kasi they were literally a cheat code. Every time Ateneo tried to build a run, tried to make a run, one of them would just step in and take over. And this was not even like a dominant game by Mike Phillips. Sabi mo nga, as compared to the first game, diba? So, that's what's scary about this LaSalle team. You don't know who's going to take over for LaSalle. Is it going to be a huge game by Mike Phillips? Is Baclaan going to take over? Is Jacob Cortez going to take over? Or sabay silang dalawa? It's scary and it's unfair. It's unfair for the entire league. I think LaSalle has proven that they're probably, for me, the team to beat so far this offseason. Maui.
Yeah, actually, to all the haters, diba, of Jacob Cortez, diba, to all those people saying that he will not be as relevant or as effective in the UAAP. Diba, I've been saying, diba, to you two guys, nasa NCAA pala Jacob Cortez, this guy plays with such smoothness and there's a reason why he's the cool cub. Diba? I think it will translate, and with what we've seen so far in the preseason, so far so good. I think for Jacob Cortez, it's a matter of him and Baclaan knowing when to take over, and I think this weekend both of them did a pretty good job. Diba? Most of their points, whether scored or generated, were in the flow of the offense. Diba? Kasi during the early part of the offseason, we saw them diba, struggling to still mesh with all of the weapons when Mike Phillips was inserted, Amos and Pablo were inserted. Pero during this weekend, you really saw how they have been able to understand the system of Coach Topex and know when to take over. And they've done it, I think, 2 back-to-back games. Diba? Maybe no 30-point games, but if you look at the box score, both of them played close to or even below 20 minutes but had so much impact in the game. Diba? Si Sam talked about cheat code. We talked about off-air kanina. It's unfair. Kasi these two guys can go all out in 20 minutes. Kasi when you get tired, you can easily replace another with another superstar. Diba? These two guys will probably compete with each other for that mythical team slot, that guard slot for that mythical team. That's how good we think both of them are and have been. It's really a matter of LaSalle really understanding how to use all of their weapons. 'Di ba? Kasi I have to say I really like what I saw also with Luis Pablo. He knows his role, he knows what to do, and kahit even if he plays 4 or 5, he still can drive to the basket. I think these players have really soaked in maybe the first 2 or 3 months of the summer and try to mesh with this team. And Gabby's right, it's scary to think how and what they will look come UAAP season 88, di ba? Kasi this early, we're already seeing these two guys knowing when to take over and being unselfish. Di ba? Kasi these two guys are ball dominant players. So that's gonna be one of the things that they have to figure out. For my baller of this weekend, I'm going to go with a homer pick. I have to say that Sean Tuano has solidified himself as probably the front runner for the most improved player next season, diba? I think he has a very high ceiling, and I'm hoping.
Shout out to his parents who always watch our show. Shout out Tito and Tita.
Shout out to Tito and Tita, some of the nicest people you could meet. I think that's where yung humility ni Sean also comes from. But I think this guy has a lot of ceiling. And if I were SVP, I would start yung process of him trying to get this eligibility for Gilas. This could be a future guard for our national team. I like how he has improved yung free throw shooting niya. I like how he now has the confidence to shoot from the 3-point line and even from the mid-range. I think he hit a few mid-range shots a while ago. He was the hero basically during the San Beda game for Ateneo, and I think this guy is one consistent jump shot, 3-point shot to become a superstar. Probably gonna be heralded the next King Eagle within the next few years. Let's see. But yeah, I'm excited to see yung further development of this guy and Kyle Gamber, another name from Ateneo. Sam.
I love that pick. Hindi pa rin solid siguro yung free throws ni Sean Tuano, but I think there is some improvements there. I think he shot decently nung championship against LaSalle. So, I think a consistent jumper and a consistent free throw away from being a King Eagle. He's that close. Gab.
3 out of 3 from the free throw line a while ago in the championship game against LaSalle. Was 4 out of 6 actually in the semifinals against San Beda. Completely agree. Actually, one of my other picks for ballers of the weekend has to be the Ateneo Blue Eagles. Now I know they lost against LaSalle, but they were in this game. Actually, they were down big in the first quarter. Well, if you could point to where they actually lost the game, was in the first quarter, because after the first quarter they were playing behind the entire game. I think I kind of jinxed it for Ateneo. I did call out LaSalle for shooting terribly from 3 in Asiabasket. So of course, to start this game, they started
0 for 6 ata.
Diba? Biglang LaSalle starts hitting their threes to start this game. Like, oh man, they're giving it to me. They're showing it to me, man. So, yeah. Ateneo, I think, is a baller of the weekend, especially Sean Tuano. You shouted him out. Against San Beda, I love the awareness that San Beda doesn't have a rim protector. So over and over again, this guy was taking it to the hole. Now, he missed a ton of layups also, but he also made a ton, especially in that overtime. I think the first 6 points of Ateneo just came from Sean Tuano, him attacking the paint over and over again. Just great awareness. And even a while ago, just if only those refs allowed his jump stops twice, I think he would have gotten 4 more points. But
Bakit nga tinatawag na travel yun? Actually, hindi
I thought
rin
it was
gets,
illegal basketball play. I don't understand why. It's a travel.
Comment down below, by the way. Comment down below.
Yeah, if you know why. I mean, I've seen it. I've seen this move so many times in multiple basketball games, the NBA, PBA, FIBA. they don't call it a travel. Why is this suddenly a travel? But yeah, again, he he knows his strength is getting to the basket, and it's hard to stop him because he's long. He has long strides. He knows how to twist his body to get layups. So I I freaking love it for Sean Tawanyo. And for the Ateneo Blue Eagles, their game against San Beda was probably the game of the weekend. That was crazy. That was, again, a come from behind win against a pretty good San Beda Red Lions and Ajante Miller. I think we'll just talk about in a separate segment because he's not in the UAAP, but oh man, this guy is probably screaming MVP of the NCAA right now.
Not in the UAAP yet? Yet?
Not
Malay
in the
mo.
UAAP yet, actually.
With how good he's been playing.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll talk about him later. But yeah, the game on Saturday, just it's a game that Ateneo needs. You know, those kinds of games wherein they're down, they're up against a good team, they're they were that they were being for the most part of the first half, they were being outcoached. Coach Yuri Escueta was outcoaching Coach Tab in the first half of that game, and it led to a double-digit lead heading into halftime. I think it was a 10-point lead by San Beda, and they were even up by 7 heading into the fourth quarter. And yet, Jared Bahay and the Ateneo Blue Eagles just kept clawing back. And I have to applaud Jared Bahay for that fourth quarter because his playmaking was the key to that run. I think he had 4 or 5 assists in that fourth quarter, just orchestrating the offense. And that's what you want to see. I mean, yes, I want him to shoot more, a little bit more. I mean, I do feel like he passes up scoring opportunities at times to play make for his other teammates, but I don't mind it. He was one of the top assist men in season 87. I think he's good. He's gonna be one of the top guys in assists also in season 88. He just knows the offense, knows where his teammates are gonna be, knows who to feed. And that was a character win by the Ateneo Blue Eagles. The pressure was on. San Beda was making them guard in space, especially Divina Dili and Kikimani Ladi. It worked in the first half. Adili was getting beat so many times. Kimani Ladi was getting beat
bad.
so many times. Yeah, it looked bad at first.
Really
By the
bad.
first half talaga, Coach Yuri Escueta was coaching his ass off.
Si Andrada, di ba, beat them to the easily ups.
Yeah, Andrada,
And he shot
Jomel
like 4
Puno,
threes. Si
Yep.
Andrada nung first half.
Zed Etule, those tall forwards from San Beda were just beating Ateneo in space. It was a smart game plan, to be honest. They don't have the size to match up with Divina Dili at Kimani Ladi, but they do have the foot speed. They do have the shooting to match up with Ateneo. And it was a good game plan. In the second half, Ateneo just tightened up, adjusted to how San Beda was playing them. And that's what you want to see. Character win. Tighten up on defense, get stops. Hopefully the free throws follow because, man, they almost threw this game away in overtime with those missed free throws. But yeah, I hope the free throws follow. But I love how they played. And even against Salle, I think I still loved how they played. They were matched up against a veteran championship team with a ton of experience, and still they fought and they fought. I mean, the past how many games against Salle were blowouts? 30-point blowouts against Salle. Now we're going toe-to-toe with a prospective contender heading into season 88. I like where Ateneo is going. I do think they need a big because I don't think Kyle Ong has gained the trust of Coach Tab. I actually think he's lost the trust of Coach Tab already to play significant rotation minutes. They're basically playing 3 bigs in Adili, Ladi, and Josh Lazaro. I do think they need one more, whether that's si Fiel Vang from Cebu, who's coming at the end of May, whether it's this JT Tan guy. They need another guy because Mahirap bang kalaban mo ang mga like
Castillejos from
baka si
FEU.
Castilleos has something to show, but they need more front court depth. The perimeter, I'm not worried. I don't understand why they recruited more guards nga, diba? But the guards in the wings, I'm not worried. I have to give a shout out to Drew Bongo, just limiting Ajanti Miller in the second half and in overtime of their semifinals against San Beda. Kyle Gamber was more aggressive in the final. So lots of good things to come out of these two games for Ateneo. And again, I think they're gonna get better. I do think they need more reps and they're gonna get better. Sami, Maui.
May hope and ceiling. 'Di ba? Yun yung hinahanap natin last off-season na
From
hindi
last off
dumating.
season. I'm cheating a bit here, pero I know we're talking about yung games over the weekend. But I do wanna shout out si Kyle Gamber pa rin, as like part of my ballers from Ateneo. I think he was the best 3-point shooter sa buong Asia Basket. Free 3-point percentage wise, like
60%.
60%, something like that.
First of all, okay, that's not sustainable to anyone. No one shoots 60. Steph Curry doesn't shoot 60%.
Kahit sa NBA, hindi. Kahit sa NBA, wala. But, diba, 60% all throughout the Asia Basket. I think one of the reasons why close din yung game dun against San Beda. Ateneo shot 19% from 3 nung game na yon. Gab, you mentioned the first half performance against Salle, they couldn't hit the 3. So, I think all the more kailangan ng Ateneo si Kyle Gamber, yung shooting percentage na yan. Even yung mid-range niya, like, he's pretty, like, sure sa mid-range jumper na rin niya. So, I do love what I'm seeing from Kyle Gamber and I think he will get minutes this coming season. Ganito pa lang ka-early, lock him in for someone that will get minutes this coming season, 88. My baller for the week is also, since you mentioned LaSalle, obviously, is a baller, but it's also a loser of the weekend, which is NU, the NU Bulldogs. They lost to LaSalle, a very close one. That was PJ Palacios' shot, by the way. He was making that all
My
game
boy!
long. Your
Come
boy,
on,
PJ.
You were
Your
wide
boy.
open. That's your
Feel ko nang gigil na ng onte. May onting gigil. Kasi it was like a little
Feeling ko nagulat
strong.
siya eh. Feeling ko nagulat siya na he was
Na sobrang
that
open
open.
niya.
And the ball came to him.
Yeah. It was a good play. Would have been crazy if he hit that game winner. But I do want to shout out the NU Bulldogs. I think season 88 is going to be very competitive, yung Final Four. Maybe LaSalle and UP are locks, pero yung last 2 slots na yon, you never know. Kasi you have UST, Ateneos competing against top teams like LaSalle, NU's competing. You still have like a team like FEU or Adamson na hindi pa natin alam, di ba? And Adamson's been solid also. So, for me, NU last season was a bust. Na-injure yung FSA nyo. But they've been so impressive. Top to bottom, itong NU team. And what's interesting, over this weekend, Gab, you always talk about this, yung 2 timelines. I think we saw a peak of those 2 timelines. Nung game against LaSalle, it was the vets that took over and kept this game close. Jolo Manansala was amazing. He was a beast last year na niya to. Without Jake Figueroa, he took over for the team. I think he hit a 3-point shot na hindi tumama sa board. So it wasn't a bank shot. So I would say that's a huge improvement already. He can hit a 3-point shot na hindi sa gitna, 'di ba? Top of the key. Steve Nash Enriquez, Maui, I think ikaw yung nag-message. I think he's still the best point guard in NU. Someone, when we did yung top 5 point guards for season 88, someone commented na we're underrating Steve Nash Enriquez. And I do have to agree with him after like seeing him against LaSalle. He's so solid. Was very solid and reliable. He's going to make a play. He's not going to turn the ball over. That's why Coach Jeff Napal just loves to play him. And Gab, as you mentioned offline, he got a technical from Kian Baklaan. He was talking trash with Kian Baklaan. Kian Baklaan got a technical. He's a savvy point guard. Alam mo na yung veterano yung mag-isip and veterano maglaro. I am sorry to Steve Nash Enriquez for not putting him in the top 5 because I think he does deserve to be part of that conversation. Jolo Manansala, Steve Nash, and of course, PJ Palacielo, and your boy, our boy, Omar John, who was going up
Our
against
boy na.
potential our
Our boy
boy,
na.
our boy was going up against potentially he is the MVP of Asia Basket and potentially the MVP of season 88, Mike Phillips, and Omar John um was going toe to toe with Mike Phillips, and he was contributing a lot in offensively. He was defending, he was rebounding. I think this is a new and improved Omar John, and I think he right now he deserves to be the FSA of NU. So that was for the Saturday game, and then they lost to LaSalle 1 point. PJ Palacielo missed game winner. And then the game against San Beda, admittedly, ito hindi ko napanood. So maybe Gab, you can tell
2 points
us
naman sa amin.
more
Di naman
about
1 point.
2 points pala. Sorry. Tell us more about it. But with this game, it was mostly the young guys playing. You see si Palangka na. I saw Mac Alfanta also played. I think sina Steve Nash did not even suit up or play, and they still won. That's what's good about this, diba? Sina Solomon, really it was mostly the young guys, and maybe one guy that Maui mentioned of RC, Mark Parks also played, was very solid in both games, by the way. Defensively, I think he will have a role for NU. So I think overall, NU did not make it to the finals, but I think this is a huge win for NU. I think they deserve to be a baller of the weekend because they look very solid. And I said so much already without even talking about their main guy, Jake Figueroa, who did not play over this weekend. So imagine if kompleto pa sila. This is a formidable team. Hopefully they stay healthy. Hopefully they have an FSA for season 88. I think they could make it to the finals. I think so. Maui?
Dark horse team ang NU, 'di ba, from next season. And I think now I'm understanding why people have been commenting on our comment section that NU is a team to look out for next season. We don't even know yet, 'di ba, who their FSA will be, but I think anyway they go right now is good with how Omar John has been performing, 'di ba? With that renewed brute body, ang laki ng katawan ni Omar John coming back with a vengeance. I think si Omar John wants to prove that he can be the best. But very good point, Sam, on NU, 'di ba? I think with a team like NU, it's very important you have consistent players, 'di ba? You know that Figueroa, you know that Manansala will score points. You know that Palacielo will occasionally also have big games. But when you get players like Francisco, players like Santiago, or even a more consistent Humamoy or Tebol Garcia, then they could be more dangerous come season 88. And I think, much like Ateneo, diba, they have another gear to get to. I think they have a higher ceiling than what we've seen. Diba? I think that's what's scary about this NU team. They could surprise come season 88.
Yeah, I was gonna comment that perhaps the best game of the weekend was the Ateneo San Beda overtime game in the semifinals. But for me, the most entertaining one was the NU LaSalle game in the semifinals because there was a ton of trash talking happening between Kian Baklaan and his former teammates.
This
Kian
is the
Baklaan
first
was
time na kinalaban niya yung NU like in a long time. Parang he mentioned that in the interview then.
So it was really fun. I mean, he was going up against a lot of his former teammates. Sila Jolo Monasala were smiling at him. As you mentioned, Sam, he was joying with Steve Nash, then got a technical. Steve Nash was so happy from the bench. He was fist bumping his other teammates because he drew a technical from Kian. Si Kian Baklaan was repeatedly trash talking Omar John. to no end. Every time Omar John you gave a hard foul, he would smile at Omar John. He would say something. When Omar John was taking a free throw, he was whispering something to Omar John. Uh, Very entertaining. I
I
don't know if
love
there's
it.
actually some. I don't know if it's actually bad blood, but there's definitely some banter yung going on between Kian and the NU Bulldogs. Actually, come season 88, if I could get some courtside seats to an NU LaSalle game, I would be happy just so I can hear and watch what they're saying to each other. It's so much fun. Obviously, si Kian was the starting point guard of NU for season 85 and 86. So there's obviously some thing there, something, whether he left on bad terms or not, but it was really fun. For NU, as Maui said, I was a bit surprised that they were keeping in pace with the Sal's offense, scored 100 points. I never thought NU would be capable to score that many points. But the standout performer for me for the two games that NU played this weekend was Mark Parks. I think he found a role. I think he's found a role. Uh, I think we were iffy including him on the roster in season. I don't think we even did for season 87, diba? Because he's a wing, but we don't know what his role is. I mean, there are other wings on NU that can play. You talk about sila Jello Santiago, si Paul Francisco, um, Jake Figueroa, di ba? Ang dami eh. Ang daming guys who can play the same role as him. But now he's found something. As the Sean Kiteves of NU. Di ba? A guy who can you put on the best perimeter guy on the other team. He was guarding Kian Baclaan for majority of the semifinals. He was guarding si Ajanti Miller for a good part of and even si Jomel Puno, he was guarding them for a good part of the game in a while ago against San Beda. I think he's found a role. He's a Sean Kiteves, and I say that comparison because he does need to work on his outside shot. I mean, kudos to him. He takes the shots. I mean, it's not a Sean Kiteves from last year. He wouldn't take the shots, but at least Mark Parks attempts them. Just can't hit them consistently, but that's what he needs to work on because obviously Coach Jeff Napa trusts him to get the hardest defensive assignment. And I love the way he played against Kian Baclaan and against San Beda a while ago. Aggressive, moves his feet, knows how to anticipate the offensive players' moves. Again, in front of Kuya, nonetheless, in the game against
Inspire
Asal.
kay Kuya.
Na-inspire kay Kuya. And you do one thing good, and that's play good defense. And for an NU team that values defense, I think he's gonna find some time on the floor. His minutes have been inconsistent since last off-season. But now, with Patrick Yugon, minutes have opened up, and with a role like that, he'll find some minutes. And I don't think he's gonna be a star. I mean, again, his lack of shooting goes against him. But as a guy who's a star in his role, I love what I saw from Mark Parks. So yeah, shout out to Mark Parks, man. Surprised me this weekend.
Okay. Let's do a round of boleros naman. Okay, so talked about our winners, our ballers. Let's do boleros. Gab, let's start with you. Sino ang bolero of the weekend mo?
My bolero of the weekend. Now I know he had a good game against NU. Had 5 threes. But Mason, bro, I'm sorry, but I think multiple people commented the same thing to me during the games. His role is the same, and he's gonna have games where his shot falls against NU, and he's gonna have
Against
games where
NU?
his shot does not fall against Ateneo. And that's gonna be the story of I think of Mason Amos's career in LaSalle for season 88 because his role is essentially a spot-up shooter. They don't run anything for him. They don't run any plays to get him open. They don't run any plays through him. So his role is a spot-up shooter. And he's a good shooter, but again, it depends on when his shot goes in, when his shot does not. When his shot does not, the stat line looks ugly. What, he was 1 of 9 from the floor, scored 3 points. Doesn't look good for Mason. And the other thing that why I'm calling Mason Amos a Bolero of the weekend, we saw the debut of LeBron James Diep. And no, he's not playing wing minutes. He's playing power forward minutes. And who plays power forward? Mason Amos. Another guy like Pablo who plays the same position as him, taking his minutes. I don't think LeBron James Diep is going to be an Alex Konov where he just rides the bench. I do think he's going to clamor for minutes. He had a very good debut against NU, scored a couple of buckets, knew where to be on defense, grabbed rebounds, can fight underneath, is pretty athletic. So it's another guy gonna cut into Mason Amos' minutes. I don't know. For now, I think he's the presumptive starter alongside Mike Phillips, but he has more competition, and I won't be surprised if there are games where he gets less minutes than Pablo or less minutes than LeBron James Diep. Because it depends on when his shot is going in. If the shot is not going in, they're gonna go more to Pablo. They're gonna go more to Diep. Speaking of which, now si Pablo is playing more backup center to Mike Phillips. What happens when si Henry Agunane comes back? Who, by the way, I have not seen on the bench behind the bench of LaSalle. So, is he still in LaSalle? Yeah,
Comment down
maybe.
below.
Oh, to the LaSallians out there, maybe I haven't seen him behind the bench in these past 2 games. So, let's see. But yeah, once Henry Agunane comes back, you assume that he will take up the backup center minutes of behind Mike Phillips, because I don't think they're gonna go with Mike Phillips, Henry Agunane together. Not
Two
with
bigs again.
Oh, you're not with Amos and Pablo there. You and LeBron James Diep. So scrap that. They're not gonna do that. So it's gonna be Agunane and Phillips at center. It's gonna be 3 power forwards that they have to play. Now, so not looking good for Mason Amos. He had a couple of good defensive plays, which I was pleased at, and but overall his offensive role does not look good. Again, I call him a bolero despite him having a good game against NU. But I think if you're a basketball fan, you see where the problems lie for Mason Amos come season 88. The fact na nagdagdag sila ng highly recruited NCAA Juniors MVP and LeBron James Diep, who plays the same position as him. And to those who say that LeBron James Diep is going to become a wing, he's going to be the next KQ, Coach Top is going to develop into the next KQ. Just look at how many wings and guards LaSalle has. They're not going to play him on the wing. There's Marasigan, there's Abadam, there's Makalalag, there's Dungo. Ang dami lang kailangan ilaro on the wing. LeBron James Diep is not going to get position. It's not going to get minutes at the wing, at the perimeter. He's going to play power forward. It's going to be if UP has a 3-headed monster or 4-headed monster at center, now LaSalle has a 3-headed monster at power forward. They have to decide. For now, it's Mason Amos. I won't be surprised though if eventually we get more minutes from Daep and Pablo. Maui, Sammy.
Just imagine if the VJ Pre fiasco. Imagine if VJ Pre ends up in LaSalle. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but imagine if that happens. They already have 3 very good power forwards. 3 power forwards who are highly touted blue chip recruits from high school. But yeah, si Mason Amos is probably on the top of my list as Boleros, as part of the Boleros for this weekend. I think what's discouraging is you don't see him playing a different role for LaSalle, diba? So that's one of the main reasons why he decided to go to LaSalle. He wanted to convert to a wing. He wanted to be able to guard wing players. Maybe the process is taking longer than expected. I think the only positive is that we've seen yung transformation nung body ni Mason. Now the question is, will his game follow? Will he be able to defend wings? Will he be able to create his own shots from the perimeter? Will he be able to create? Will he have enough foot speed to compete with the top wings? Diba? Not just in the UAAP, but even in KBL or B League. Because that was supposed to be ceiling. Diba? Initially when he entered the UAAP. I was pleasantly surprised with how LaSalle was able to play si LeBron James. Daep, and I have to agree with Gab. He looks like he's better than Alex Conove. It looks like he will get more minutes than Alex Conove. It doesn't look like that he will ride the bench from what we've seen sa finals, di ba? It seems like he's capable of playing the four in the UAAP. UAP seniors. I don't know if maybe some people are saying he will be converted to a wing eventually, but for this season, I think he will exclusively play the four. He's probably too thin to play the five. They have Mike Phillips and maybe Henry Agunani coming, and that spells a lot of trouble. Diba? Kasi as they say, they can only play 5 people. Diba? In a basketball game like the UAAP, you only have enough minutes, 40 minutes per position. You can't. So, I don't know. I don't know if that's. You guys know that I am one of the biggest fans, the biggest followers of Mason Amos. I don't know if that decision looks pretty good right now. It will look very bad. I can honestly say with if VJ Pre decides to commit to LaSalle. For my Boleros for this weekend, actually majority
Or his family decides to commit for to LaSalle.
or his family,
is everything.
diba, forces him to commit. I think that's another conversation, diba, the VJ Pre fiasco, how it was reported by Navs. It's looking ugly for the UAAP, for his family, and for VJ. Anyway, we will break the news when he finally confirms where he will go. For my bolero of the weekend, actually I had a hard time choosing after Gab naming Amos. I think I could say that it's the NCAA, just because that the top 3 teams that finished the Asia Basket are UAAP teams. I think that's where you see yung difference. That's where you see your strength. That's why you see some UAAP players thrive when they transfer to the NCAA. You can say it's because of the FSA, but LaSalle doesn't need an FSA to be dominant. The UP doesn't need an FSA to be dominant. They weren't in the Asia Basket. So actually, I'm interested to see how they will avenge their poor, well, not so poor, but their poor showing in Asia Basket and Phil Oil, because only 4 UAAP, well, 5 UAAP teams if you count UP as 2 in the Pinoy Liga Cup is competing, diba? So let's see. But I would say that the UAP is a big winner also, because the NCAA was a loser this weekend. You just see the elevation of talent, diba? NU was able to beat San Beda despite fielding yung second gen players nila, next timeline players. So that bodes well for the UAAP. Sam, Gab.
Yeah. Actually,
I know the
go.
NCAA is a loser, but this is the point where I need to shout out a John T. Miller, because, man, it's so fun watching this guy. Now, I say fun because he's primarily a scorer. I mean, that's what he does. I don't think he does anything else. I think he averaged 1 assist a game for the entire Asia Basket tournament. So he's kind of a shot chucker, but it's fun to watch him shot chuck out
Parang
there,
Shani
because
Winston 2.0.
parang
Yeah,
Sonny
Shani
Winston,
Winston.
taking inspiration from Jordan Clarkson and Jalen Green. Just when I get the ball, this is going up in the air. But I love watching him, man. He's pretty athletic. His shot is so smooth, whether it's from mid-range or from 3. And you see Coach Yuri, they run a ton of plays for him. They run a ton of plays to get him the ball, in spots where he can make shots. And it's amazing just to watch him put the ball in the basket. I think he's the only player who averaged 20 points a game in the entire Asia Basket tournament. Wow, I think he's 20. No, he's 22 now. He was recruited last year at 21 years old, so he's 22 now. Man, I see future MVP for what is season 101 na ba ng NCAA or 102, something like that. But yeah, I mean, if a guy can put up 20 points per game and he's gonna have a ton of opportunity, wow. I know, see, the NCAA did not win podium finish here, but the fact that they're going to be able to watch a Jonty Miller, I think they're kind of a winner for me. I just love this guy. I mean, and the hair, the look, it just adds to his aura of scoring aura out there. I love it. He has
May
a ton of
swag.
moves.
May natural swag
talaga
si
siya.
Ajante
Yeah.
Miller. I think ano siya
Natural-
social media influencer din si Ajanti.
Yeah.
He makes
Talaga?
mixtapes.
Yep, he has a
Oh,
ton of
okay.
followers on Instagram, I think. But I love watching this guy play. He almost beat. I think he almost tried to win the game in. He missed a left-handed layup against Ateneo in regulation. He almost won the game, and he also missed a game-winning three a while ago against NU. So he almost won it. So hindi po siya clutch, kasing clutch, but man, he's one hell of a player. One hell of a scorer. Needs to pass more. Has more of a Kobe mentality.
I was gonna say, Gab, lose Bolero nga yung NCAA for having like one team dun sa finals and semifinals, but I have to say I really enjoyed watching San Beda. So hindi lang si Miller, but like watching San Beda as a whole, I was like surprised they really competed kahit wala silang FSA, 'di ba? So I was very impressed. I have to admit I don't get to watch NCAA games, a lot of NCAA games, but I was happy watching San Beda. Those were two competitive games kahit na natalo sila.
Tarkulas is going to a good program. Yun ang masasabi natin.
That's a good point. If he decides to continue to go to San Beda, kung hindi siya babalik ng UP. For me, Bolero of the weekend, mahirap din. So I'm gonna cheat a bit, but I'm going to pick the fans, the UAAP fans, the basketball fans. Bakit? This weekend was very exciting for us. Unfortunately, we probably won't get to see like Salle, Ateneo, or even UP compete against each other in the succeeding like preseason games, because as we know, I think Salle, Ateneo, UP, they're all going to compete abroad also. I know Ateneo already confirmed that they're not playing in Phil Oil. They're going to play in Spain. I think La Salle will probably not join in the Pinoy Liga Cup then. So we won't get to see like a La Salle versus UP or UP versus Ateneo in the Pinoy Liga Cup or in the Phil Oil. So that sucks for us fans. Kasi this weekend was very exciting and I wanna see more. So
Tinitis na tayo.
may lang tayo, teaser ng onte, but we will get to see the other teams, diba? We will get to see the other teams in the other preseason games. Pero sayang for me that we don't get to see like all the teams compete sa other preseason games natin, because it's been very exciting for me, the games this weekend. Sana lang we get to see that more. Gab.
Well, I did have a Bolero. I mentioned him a while ago. It's definitely si Kyle Ong, because earlier in the Asia Basket tournament, he was getting backup minutes behind Divine Adili. Now it seems, as I said, they're just going with three front court players in Lazaro, Ladi, and Adili, and Coach Tab is mixing the three of them up, just rotating them. Sorry, not mixing them up, rotating them and seeing what works, diba, out there, and that's a very shallow front court. He's gonna get minutes if ever there's an injury or extreme foul trouble, like what happened in the first Ateneo Lasal game in Asia Basket, but it doesn't look good for Kyle Ong. I mean, I was hopeful. He did show some defensive upside last season. I did think na baka he'll show some more of that. Showed some a possible mid-range shot that could keep him on the floor, but it doesn't seem like Coach Tab is trusting him yet. And I don't know. It doesn't look good for Kyle Ong. And the good news and the other thing is, I think Coach Tab has his 8 to 9 guys that he trusts. Diba? I think when it comes to big games, he has the guys that he will go with. Now, whether the incoming one and does Escobar and Silazo will enter that rotation, again, I don't understand why they recruited that. I do think they have a good core already, but let's see, no? Ako sayang eh. Like, kunyari, yung maulan na minutes si Gamber, he's already playing so well. So why decrease his minutes? If Tongano and Bongo, they're already playing well, why insert people who can possibly take away the minutes from them? I think they're already playing really well. We're already competing with the likes of Alasal. Ateneo is competing with the likes of Alasal, not getting blown out anymore. They're in the games, and that's all what we can ask for. As Maui said, the hope is there. So,
Nananalo na
let's
tayo sa
see.
UAAP teams, bro.
Sa UAAP teams. So, yeah. Pretty good weekend of basketball. I freaking loved it. Sorry, another bolero I had, perhaps to end this, is gotta be si Reinhard Humamoy because I don't see the improvement, to be honest, from Reinhard. I was pretty high on
Yari na
this
naman
guy.
siya kay coach.
Yeah, actually, pretty fun then to watch Coach Jeff Napa. Whenever you make a mistake and he calls timeout, he doesn't run any plays. He doesn't teach any. He doesn't have the chalkboard or the whiteboard and teach any plays. He just really shouts at his team. Tinuturo niya, and he just sinasabon lang niya. He has timeouts like those, and one of his favorite targets is Reinhard Humamoy.
Yep.
Doesn't look good. The way Tebol Garcia is playing, yung Tebel's playing really well. Steve Nash, as you guys mentioned, is playing really well. Doesn't look good for Reinhard. It's his third season. I would have hoped for a little bit more breakout potential from Reinhard Humamoy. I still believe in the talent. Don't get me wrong. I still love this guy. I still believe in his talent. But with the competition for minutes that he has in season 88, it's looking tough. Mukhang Tebol has leapfrogged him. In terms of potential stars for NU. Mukhang si Tebol na yung mas tinatrust ni Coach Jeff Napa. And
Two-way
he plays
din kasi
both.
si Tebol eh. Like, he
Yes.
plays defense. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Si Reinhard,
More
hindi naman
steady.
Yep.
Di ba, Reinhard maybe has the potential to score a ton, di ba? Pero si Tebol is very steady and just follows.
Diba? So, yun. Was not a good 2 games for Reinhard Humamoy. I was actually expecting that he'll have a high-scoring game or a big impact game against San Beda a while ago with Steve Nash not playing. But hindi eh. Hindi pa rin. So, yeah. Not looking good for Reinhard Humamoy. But it's still early. So,
Speaking of, like, just another player that I do want to call out for NU na medyo bolero, I'm surprised hindi nakalaro si Vince Reyes, the other star recruit that they got along with Tebol Garcia. Kanina, it was all the young guys, but he didn't get to play, so it doesn't look like he's going to make it to the team this coming season. So that's 2 straight seasons that he will probably
he's
miss
in
the
a
team.
really tough spot, Sam.
Yeah.
I think it's a really tough spot. He can't play power forward because he's too small.
Undersized. He's undersized.
Oh, and plus there are guys like si Solomon, si Palanca, who are si Simon de la Cruz who play big. Si Kurt Persano is not even playing yet, so he's still there. So, ang daming guys who play the front court minutes for NU, so he has to play the wing. But he doesn't have a handle, and he doesn't shoot it very well.
Or
Diba?
as athletic as like a Manansala or a Figueroa.
Oo. So, yeah. And he doesn't have the defensive chops that Mark Parks has. Diba? This is one thing eh. If you're not going to be a star, you have to be good in your role. One thing going for a guy like Mark Parks is he has a role. Jello Santiago, he has a role. Spot up shooter.
Jenny Francisco. Shout out
Oh,
kay
diba?
Insan.
Oy, Francisco against Salle was good. Yeah.
Diba? So, you can see that those other wings have roles eh. And they can handle the ball also. So, what does Vince Reyes offer this NU team? Right now, I don't think he can offer much. Again, he's not a wing player. He's a big man. That's too small. That's not a good place to be.
Okay. That's it. That's it for today's episode. Hopefully, we were able to cover the weekend of basketball that we had. Talked a little bit about LeBron James going to LaSalle. Looks like he's the real deal. So maybe we'll talk about him more in a succeeding episode. Uh, Comment down below your bowlers and boleros of the week and some of your observations from the games, what you're looking forward to this preseason. Like, share. We'll see you again next time. And don't forget, vote tomorrow, please. I don't know when this post will be up, but please vote.
Vote wisely, please, guys.